November 2, 1896, Rizal's diary was returned to him. At this time, news reports on Rizal's predicament reached his friends in Europe and Singapore. Dr. Antonio Maria Regidor and Sixto Lopez requested Attorney Fort, an English lawyer in Singapore, to institute a writ of habeas corpus to the Supreme Court for the removal of Rizal from the steamer. November 3, 1896, the steamer Colon reached Manila. Meanwhile, the Spanish authorities, who wanted to get evidence against Rizal, arrested Deodato Arellano, Dr. Pio Valenzuela, Moises Salvador, Jose Dizon, Domingo Franco, and Timoteo.
Rizal,
Yes,
you are accused of rebellion, sedition, and illegal association.
we are ordered to take you to your cell from Santiago. Please come with us.
November 20, 1896. On this day, a preliminary 5-day investigation began. He appeared before the Judge Advocate Colonel Francisco Olive. Documentary and testimonial evidences were presented against Rizal. The documentary evidences were Antonio Luna's letter to Mariano Pons on October 16, 1888, which showed Rizal's connection with the Filipino Reform Campaign in Spain. Rizal's letter to his family on August 20, 1890, in which he stated that the deportations are good for they will encourage the people to hate tyranny. Marcelo H. Del Pilar's letter to Deodato Arellano on January 7, 1889, implicating Rizal in the propaganda campaign in Spain. A poem Condiman allegedly written by Rizal in September 12, 1891, which mentioned that in a land of beauty, despot reigns and where the slaves are oppressed in the tyrant's grips. Carlos Oliver's letter to an Nimasalang's Rizal letter to an unidentified committee on June 1, 1892, soliciting the aid of the committee in his patriotic work. Anonymous undated letter to the editor of the Hong Kong Telegraph censoring the banishment of Rizal to the Pitan. Delfonso Laures' letter to Rizal on mentioning that Filipinos look up to Rizal as their savior. Alfonso Laures' letter to Rizal dated September 3, 1893, informing an unidentified correspondent of the arrest and banishment of Doroteo Cortes and Ambrosio Salvador. Marcelo H. Del Pilar's letter to Don Juan A. Tanjus, Juan Zulieta, dated June 1, 1893, recommending the establishment of a special organization independent of Masonry to help the cause of the Filipino people. Transcript of speech of Tiktik Emilio Jacinto in Reunion Katipunan on July 23, 1893, in which the following cry was uttered: "Long live the Philippines, long live liberty, long live Dr. Rizal's unity." Transcript of speech of Tiktik Jose Turiano Santiago in the same Katipunan reunion wherein in the Katipuneros uttered, "Long live the Philippines, long live the eminent Dr. Rizal, death to the oppressor of nation." Laong Laan's Rizal poem Talisay, in which the author made the schoolboys of the Pitan sing.
November 26, 1896. After the preliminary investigation, Colonel Olive transmitted the records of the case to Governor General Ramon Blanco, who was there upon transmitted to Nicolas de la Peña, Judge Advocate General, among Peña's recommendation for Rizal to be defended in the court by an army officer, not by a civilian lawyer. December 11, 1896, the information of charges was formally read to Rizal in his prison cell. With his counsel present, Rizal was accused of 3 crimes: rebellion, sedition, and illegal association.
Based on the evidence, papers, and testimony, it was proven that Jose Protasio Rizal, Mercado Alonzo, Ira Yolanda was found guilty before this court under the rule of Spain for the reason that he was the main founder of rebellion here in the Philippines. and because of this, he was charged with rebellion, sedition, and conspiring, and he will be sentenced to death by firing squad, while the accused has his back to the Spanish soldier, and it will be implemented tomorrow, December 30th at exactly 7 a.m. in the Bagong Bayan area. So ordered.
December 25th of 1896. It was the saddest Christmas for Jose Rizal because this was his last Christmas. Rizal wrote a letter to Lieutenant Traviel de Andrade that his case was a hopeless one. December 26th of 1896 at 8 a.m., the court martial of Rizal was held in Cuartel de España, a military building sealed behind the long table on an elevated dais, were the 7 members of the military court in their respective uniforms. Lieutenant Colonel Jose Togores Arjona, which is the president, Captain Ricardo Muñoz Arias, Captain Manuel Reguero, Captain Santiago Isquero Osorio, Captain Braulio Rodriguez Nunez, Captain Manuel Escribaño, and Captain Fermin Rodriguez. Cuartel de España is used to be the present site of Pamantasan Lungsod ng Maynila. Present inside the courtroom were Dr. Rizal, who is accused, Lieutenant Traviel de Andrade, the defense counsel, Captain Rafael Dominguez, a judge advocate, and Lieutenant Enrique de Alcacer, Josephine Bracken, some newspapermen, many Spaniards, and other spectators.
December 29, 1896 at 10 p.m. The draft of the retraction sent by the anti-Filipino Archbishop Bernardino Nozaleda was submitted by Father Balaguer to Rizal for signature, but Rizal rejected it at first because it was too long. Another shorter retraction was prepared by Father P.O.P., superior of the Jesuit Society in the Philippines, which was acceptable to Rizal. He then wrote his own retraction in which he abjured Masonry and his religious ideas, which were anti-Catholic. The Rizal's retraction is now a controversial document. The Rizalite scholars who were anti-Mason or anti-Catholic claim it to be forgery.
Please forgive me, my mother.
I already forgive you.
There's something inside.
Now, I am about to die, and it is to you I dedicate my last line to tell you how sad I am to leave you alone in life, burdened with the weight of the family Teodora, Alonzo, and our old parents.
Bear with me, Amor. I will not see you.
Take this as my last gift. I will see you no more. Bye.
At 6 a.m., as the soldiers were getting ready for the death march to Bagong Bayan, Rizal wrote his last letter to his beloved parents. My beloved father, pardon me for the pain which I repay you, for sorrows and sacrifices for my education. I did not want it, nor did I prefer it. Goodbye, father, goodbye. To my very dear mother, Senora Doña Teodora Alonso, 6 o'clock in the morning, December 30th of 1896. At around 6:30 a.m., a trumpet sounded at Fort Santiago, a signal to begin death march to Bagong Bayan.